Here in Kelly Soroka Life and the home of the Broom and Moon Coven. So today, this is the second in the monthly series that I do with the four, I call it my 4x4 series. And because I'm doing 4 magical items in 4 weeks. So last week I did a video with Rhodochrosite, the crystal that I'm studying this month. And this week we're moving on to the herb that I'm studying, which is actually a plant. You can see it here, an aloe vera plant. So this is, there's lots of different kinds of plants that are magical and are used for healing, and a lot of times their spiritual their spiritual properties will overlap with the things that they do as a healer. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to study more and wanted to really dive into certain herbs to really find out their history, to find out, what they've been used for in the past, and just their stories, because they all the plants have different stories, and some are something like others, like nettle that I've studied before, are very prolific and you can find them everywhere. And others are not, they're becoming endangered because of different things that we do with the plants and herbs. We see something that is like the next miracle cure, and so it becomes over harvested. And, we want to protect those things, especially as a witch. And, I feel like as a person who works a lot with at home, and I like to cook, and I like to be in nature, and I'm learning herbalism. So I feel like that is a very important part of a plant's story, and making sure that we know and we don't over harvest and we don't use things as just a fad cure. And speaking of, things that can be used as like fad cures, I don't know about you, but when I grew up and I was young, and we all went out as teenagers and laid in the sun and put, Hawaiian tropic all over us, and it was just, pure oil, on us, and then laid out in the sun. And, it just wasn't very smart. But, we were young and teenagers, and, didn't really know better. And of course, now I'm much more protective of my skin. But at that time, that was, what, we did. And afterwards, most of us were not, I have very, fair skin, and, it burns easily. And so aloe, the, big, you would just get the big bottles of the aloe vera gel that was, colored this just, a horrible green color, but you knew that it was going to work. And you knew if you had a sunburn, or if you had, especially a sunburn, that it would be really good for that. And it is. I mean, it is really good for that. And aloe vera and the plant, it's got this very, outside that is kind of thorny and rough, but on the inside, it's very, it's just got this healing gel inside. And it is wonderful to do that, and to have one in, especially if you do a lot of things like in the kitchen where you do have little burns and cuts and scrapes, and or you do, you work with in a situation where you maybe get, your hands, or you get rashes, or, something like that. You've been working outside, or, whatever that, some kind of rash, or anything, any kind of inflammation in your skin. Aloe vera is really good for that. And there is now, of course, lots more organically grown and harvested, and not really, doesn't have that very bright green color anymore, and you can find the aloe vera gel that does that. And So, but it's now recently just become the aloe vera juice has become, something that is like a new fad that is like a wonder drink. And you drink it and it's supposed to be good for digestion, good for, clearing, detoxifying your body and, having clearer skin, all kinds of things that that aloe vera juice claims to do. Now, personally, I've never had aloe vera juice. I've used the aloe vera, the plant. Had plants, over the years and used them for just burns and scrapes and things. I've had aloe vera, of course, the kind of gel in the bottle for sunburns and rashes and things like that. But I've never tried, and I think I'm gonna try it and just see what it's like. But, again, it's one of those things that I think that people that can be very easily, this solves all of your problems. And there's been lots of those things over the years with, it's, what's the next superfood and the next, super fruit and all of these things have come and gone and they are really good for you. And it's just like dandelion. Dandelion is really good for you, but you don't see, or we haven't seen, dandelion tea or root or anything, or I haven't, and just, in the mainstream. And so I think it's one of those things that needs to be put in context and needs to be put in, this is really good for you because there's all kinds of waters out there and all kinds of juices and all kinds of different things. And in the whole form, it's really good for you. Like aloe, in the whole form like this is really good for you. And other things like coconuts, coconuts can be really good for you too. But they're not, no one fruit or vegetable or anything like that is going to solve all of your problems. And for it to be, I think it's very misleading to be touted as something that will cure all of these things. And again, you have to be very careful because if there are, even with the plants, there are times when you would want to use a certain herb and there are times when you would not want to use a certain herb, and you have to be careful with those things. So, being cautious and, being like aloe vera, being tough on the outside. So you want to really on the outside, just question and make sure that you do your research so that when you are using something for your body in any way that you are doing the right thing for you. And we're all different. We all have different tastes and we all have different ways that our bodies react to certain things. And so an aloe vera, I think, is just another one of those things that come along that come out in the media or come out everywhere and say that this is the next big cure. And it it might be for something, and I don't doubt that it is good for you in different ways. And whether drinking the juice, is good for you, I don't know. I haven't done enough study or enough, heard enough, herbalists to have talked about it that I would trust really know. And so, but that's one of the things that I am going to, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to study aloe vera this month is to because I've seen, the juice, and I wanted to know whether, and I know that in the past it was just, the big green bottles for sunburn. And so, how can we go from that to, and relating to this plant spirit in a in a in a in a reverent way, in a way that pays homage to how helpful this plant is. So, aloe vera, and its Latin name is aloe vera or aloe barbadensis, is, of course, most famous for the relief of sunburn. But like I said, it has so much more to offer. It can relieve rashes, burns, and other skin inflammations. Many witches have aloe plants in their kitchens in order to take care of minor mishaps while preparing food. This plant brings spiritual protection as well. So having an aloe plant anywhere in your house is a good idea. So even if you don't really think you would use one in your kitchen, you can always, because it is a succulent, and it's very easy to take care of. It's very easy. Um, it doesn't need a lot of attention. You can find somewhere that it gets some sun, and have put it in a sunny window, and water it, and it doesn't need like water like every day like maybe other plants would, or and it might not, it doesn't really, it can take care of itself. And so it's a really good plant to start with, and it's very magical. So it has been used throughout history for protection, healing, and treating wounds. Many cultures associate this plant with the ancestors, which makes aloe ideal when working with spirits in the other world. And all of this information that we're talking about today, you can find this PDF on my website and you can go to my website, and you will see a page that's called the Cauldron. Just click on that, and all the PDFs from this year, you will find them all on that page. And the aloe vera one will be up very shortly after this video goes out. So you can find that, so you can go back and look over any of this information, plus the spell we're going to do. So if you want to do some ancestor work, if you want to do some spirit work with the spirits, then aloe is a good, and you don't ever have to have a living plant. You can always take a picture, and that's why I include a picture of what we're studying here. So you can just, focus in on the picture. There's lots of oracle decks that have plants and spiritual herbs and herbs, and that you can use the card. You can just get a picture off the internet and put it on your phone or print it out, and you can have that, and you can just call in the spirit of aloe and when you're working with these plants. So if you are doing maybe you're doing ancestor work, or you want to connect with, maybe you're doing ancestor reading, or you want to connect with someone specific, then aloe is good to help you with that. So, like I said before, I'm talking about the aloe juice, and today aloe vera juice is readily available and is believed to have numerous health benefits, including improved digestion, increased hydration, and boosting the immune system, among many other advantages. And so, and if aloe vera is good for a lot of these other things as well, and but it's known for really relieving rashes and sunburns, then the other things are just kind of extra things. And a lot of the things that it is believed to do, you can get from other herbs that might do it better, that might do that as well. And just like increased one of the health benefits said was increased hydration. And you're just drinking water, and that's going to increase your hydration. So again, look at what you're using it for and the reasons that you're using it, and make a good judgment with that. And so magically, aloe vera can open up your throat if you're working with your chakras, the throat and the third eye, leading to clearer communication, both physically and intuitively. And so today we're going to do a spell to protect our home with aloe vera. And aloe vera you can use it, and you can use like the dried um, pieces of it. And so if you have a piece that you're like, maybe you broke off a piece to use to get to the gel inside, and you have that the little piece left over, then you can use that. You can let it dry out, and you can put it around your home as protection. So it's really good to use for protection around the home. And it has that outside that's kind of spiky, and so it's good at repelling things on the outside and protecting the things that are on the inside. So we're going to tap into that energy today with protecting our home with aloe vera. And you could use this for anything. You could bring, if you wanted to protect your workplace or your desk where you work, or you want to protect your yard, or your patio or something like that. You can always do that. Just call in that energy of aloe vera. So in order to protect our home with aloe vera, we're going to do just a short spell here. So if you don't have a plant, but you could use a plant if you have the plant, but if you don't have the plant, you can just simply just kind of close your eyes, bring in the spirit of aloe vera in whatever way you've connected to aloe vera in the past, or if this is something new to you, just, invite it in, invite that spirit in. Just take some deep breaths just to kind of clear yourself and clear your space. And then you're going to walk around your home, and you can do this inside or outside in a clockwise direction. And I like to do groups of 3. So if I were going to do this, I would probably do it 3 times. So I'd pick one place to start and then walk around clockwise 3 times. While I would say, just as your thorny exterior guards outside the healing and goodness you have inside, bless and protect my home from without, so that within I may have no doubt. So may it be. And just say thank you, this aloe vera, to the plant, to the spirit, to the ally, to the magic of the plant, just protecting our home. And that's it for today. So this is the second in this series. And like I said, the Rhodochrosite, that is the crystal that I'm working with. That video is already out, so I will leave a link to that. And again, the link to the Cauldron on my website, where you can find all of these information sheets. You can find that. I will leave the link to that as well. I'll also leave the link to joining the Broom and Moon Coven. If you like doing these, working with these magical tools, going deeper into crystals and herbs and magical practices and working with the moon, we do all of that and much more in the Coven. So I will leave a link there. Come on over. It's hosted on a platform called School, Skool. So you can find that. You can find out, join, and there's 3 different levels you can join. There's a free community that you can come in and join us with witches tea times and planning sessions and our new moon circles. And then you can go even deeper with the premium membership, which gives you access to all the Coven curriculum, which is our lessons like this, but all tied together with a theme. And we do crafting, and we do journaling, and we do just lots of things every month. So come on over, and you can also join at the VIP level, where you will get a one-on-one magical coaching session with me. And if you join either in April or May, you will get the VIP membership free for 2 months. And if you're one of the first 13 members, then you will get one of the special Coven crystals sent to you. So come on over. It's a great place. I would love to share it with you, and I will see you again. Oh, and the rest of the 4x4 that I'm doing this month, the rhodochrosite is the crystal, aloe vera is the herb, and I'm also reading the book of Blood and Bones, and I'm working with the deck, the Penumbra Tarot. And again, all this information will be down below, and you can find all of that here. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Bye.